Okay, as you all can see, I have my sheet pan. I'm going to go ahead and line my sheet pan with some aluminum foil. Let me get another piece here. I'll rip that, but it'll be okay. Alright, so we're lining our pan here. And we're going to get our ribs on the pan, okay? So, we're going to get them on the pan so that we can actually get them seasoned, okay? This is our baby back ribs. This is something that, excuse me, that I have to take the back off of. So we're going to take, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do in order to get these prepared. Just 1 minute. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I take the back off of these ribs here. So we're going to take, and we're going to get this piece off right here, okay? It's kind of like the outer shell that, and once I can get it to start pulling, you all will see what I mean. It's like a film that is actually on the ribs, okay? And if you all can see, I'm getting my hand under there. I'm getting this off, okay? You can see me pulling it up. We want to get that off of the ribs, okay? So it kind of came off pretty easy this time, which is excellent. Probably got a little bit more here, but we want to remove that. That's what we're removing. It's almost like a casing that they use for sausages. But what this helps it does is just actually cut better, and you don't have any issues when you get ready to cut your ribs, okay? So now the next step is actually seasoning them. All right, we're going to start off with our pepper, and we're going to go ahead and get these seasoned, and then we're going to go from there, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get one side seasoned. And this is actually the sea salt. We got our pepper. We have our garlic powder, our onion powder, paprika, and I could, what I may do instead of just a regular paprika, we're going to use, because these are ribs, we're going to change it up and we're going to use the smoked paprika, okay? So it will give it a little bit of smoke flavor. A little bit of seasoned salt, LAWRY'S seasoned salt. We have a little bit of mustard seed, and I haven't even opened this yet, but maybe I have to wait till my husband comes out to open this for me. Ah, I got it. So you can always mix up your own seasonings and it'll turn out excellent, okay? I hate the way that this comes out, so this is Italian seasoning, okay? And some parsley, you can never get tired of your parsley, okay? And we're gonna go ahead and season both sides, flip it over. And we're going to do the other side, okay? Now we're going to take, and we have a little bit of avocado oil. And we're just going to drizzle just a little bit on there so that our seasonings and we're going to rub it in, okay? Because ribs are already kind of salty. I mean, it already has grease in it, so you don't want to overdo it. And we just want to kind of massage this in. Okay. And that's going to be it, because we don't want a whole lot. And what we're going to do is cover it and go ahead and get it into the oven. 350, and we're going to start out with about an hour, okay? So that is what we're going to do. The next thing we're going to start on is our famous red rice. Okay, everyone, so now we're getting started on our red rice. This is my frozen bell peppers, my orange, my orange and red bell peppers, and my white onions. Y'all know I always bring this out whenever I am getting ready to cook, because I like to freeze them, cut them up and freeze them, so that number one, they don't spoil in the refrigerator, and also number two, that I don't have to do it when I'm trying to do a meal. Anyway, let's get back to the basics. Okay, so we have some bacon here that I'm going to dice up. We are preparing this to do for our red rice. This is a very easy way for you to do red rice. If you do it this way, you can never go wrong. I do mine in the oven. We have our sausages here, and I'm going to go over that with you just a minute. But this is one of the ways. I used to go about doing the red rice, doing the tomato paste and all of that. Oh, I need to do it this way and I need to do it that way. And a young lady from a church that I used to go to, I have to give her props. She's deceased now, but her name was Sister Lynette Garvin. I was talking to her one time, and she had mentioned to me that I was talking to her about cooking and about the rice, and she said, well, why don't you use this particular ingredient? And I was like, she was like, it's so much more easier. And I was like, I never thought of that. She said, well, when you look at the container, it basically has everything in it. You can add more, but that is a simple solution for you getting, for it to turn out right. So I was like, okay, well, let me just try it. So even though she's gone, I thank God that she gave me this, told me about using it. And I've been doing it this way ever since. And I'm telling you all, it turns out perfect every time. So we have our bacon cut up. I'm just going to move this to the side. We're also going to use, I like these sausage, smoked sausage by Hillshire Farms. My daughter, her and my husband will eat both. My daughter, she only likes the Roger Woods. She always has to be the difficult one in the family. But either way, they like a bunch of sausages. So I usually try to put a whole bunch in there when I'm cooking red rice, okay? And I don't cut, I know that some people cut their, and I'm going to just use for example so I can show you. They cut their sausages about this thick. And I'm like, by the time it goes into the oven and they're cooked up, they just look really dried and everything. I don't like to do that. I like to do my sausage about this length, y'all. Because if you get about 3 of those with your rice, you're going to be, you're going to have enough meat. I just like to have mine cut big in there so that we will have a lot of portions in there, okay? So we use that, and then we're going to do a couple of the Roger Woods. And let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And we'll probably do about about 4 of the Roger Woods, because like I said, my daughter, she really likes them. But to be totally honest with you, she'll pretty much eat anything as long as it's sausages and she's hungry. And I'm going to show you all what I'm going to do once I get all of this cut up, okay? And these I cut a little bit smaller, but they're not too small. Like this. And I may cut this one a little bit more. But we want them to be, you know, a nice big size. You don't want, you know, your sausages all cut up and, you know, I just think you need to have it. Okay, so we've got these sausages finished. We've got them cut up. And so now I'm going to take you all to the next step where we're going to go ahead and take it to the stove. So you all stay with me, okay? Okay, y'all, so as you can see, we now have our pot on the stove, and we're going to go ahead so that we can actually get our red rice, the basics. I call this is the base of our red rice, okay? So just dry that little bit of water out of the pot. We're gonna start out with a little bit of avocado oil in here, and we're just gonna let that get warm, okay? Because you have to realize we're gonna be sauteing our bacon in here, cooking our bacon in here, sauteing all of our vegetables in here. So we want to make sure that we have enough oil and it's not going to stick, okay? But this is my famous red rice. At one time, I did not know how to make this rice, but it's always good to get, you know, information and learn how other ways of how people cook, and then you come up with your own recipes, okay? You learn to come up with your own recipes, which is very good. Okay, so go ahead and get our bacon in here. Okay, so we're gonna let that cook down, okay? Of course, you want your bacon to cook to a nice, crispy bacon. That is what you're wanting. So this is going to take a few minutes to actually cook down, okay? Okay, as y'all can see, it's cooking down very good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start adding in our sausages, okay? So allowing this to get in here and saute. All we want to do is saute them. They will actually cook as well when we get them, when we get everything mixed together and get it into the oven, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get those in. We're going to now add in our garlic, our minced garlic, as you can see. I'm going to add in a little bit of that. And if you don't like garlic, that's fine. But I just know I'm fine with it. You can add about a tablespoon and a half of garlic. A tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of garlic. This is our red and yellow bell peppers. We're going to add those in there. And if y'all can smell this kitchen, I'm telling you, y'all, the kitchen is just, it's banging. It really is. It smells so good in here. Because you have the bacon that is cooking. Now I'm adding in the garlic and the peppers in here with the sausages. And I'm telling you this, the kitchen smells phenomenal. And I did this recipe before. It's turned out wonderful, wonderful. So we're gonna get our white onions in there. And it does help when you already have your onions and everything cut up and frozen. Hey, you can just put them in and keep going. This is our white onions. Sometimes if I don't have white onions, I will put red onions in, because red onions have, to me, they have a lot more flavor than the white onions. But we already have a lot of flavors in this pot as well, with, you know, the red, the green, and the orange bell peppers. So it's not like we're gonna miss any flavor if we use white onions, because they have great flavor. But I just think for me, the red ones, the red onions gives just a little bit more flavor than the white. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get all of this stirred up, okay? Let me just turn this back up, because sometimes when you add in the cold bell peppers and everything, it kind of let the temperature come down, and we want it to stay up because we want it to actually saute, okay? Excuse me. So y'all just continue to wait. We're gonna let this finish cooking down, and then I'm gonna show you. Well, while that is cooking down, I'm gonna actually show you the next thing that we're going to do, okay? We're going to warm some water in the pot, and we're going to add in our jasmine rice. Now let me explain something to you. You don't want to cook this rice until it is soft and mushy, okay? All you want to do, and I'm going to show you the rice. This is the jasmine rice. It's a great value kind, but it doesn't matter what brand it is. It can be great value. It could be any of the other ones, but just make sure it is jasmine rice, okay? I like this rice because it doesn't cook up so fast, and like some of the other rice, like the long green brown, you know, the long green white rice, sometimes that'll cook up. But I just like using the jasmine rice in my pot or my pan for my red rice. It just seems like it's so much better. But anyway, I've got a pot of water on the stove. I put a little bit of oil in it, and we're now going to add some sea salt in there. I'm just going to measure it by hand. Put a little bit of sea salt in the water. We want it to warm up. We want that water to come to a boil. We're going to put our rice in. As far as the, let me just go over here and show you the sausages and everything. And a lot of smoke is coming up, so you can barely not see it, but that's okay. Okay? Oh yes, y'all. This looks very good. So now you can actually turn this off, because everything has marinated together. And y'all, when I tell y'all, this is so good. We're just going to let that sit right there, and I'm going to show you the next thing that we're going to do, okay, once our water begins to boil. Okay, y'all, so we have our water. You can see it's boiling. So what we're going to do now is add in, excuse me, our jasmine rice, okay? And remember I said it's going, let me cut this down just a little bit. We're going to add about 4 cups, but I'm going to play with it, because when I usually cook, sometimes it's, you know, for another day. So that's 1. 2. 3. 4. make sure that we get all of this, and we're not going to let it ball that much. Okay? I'm just going to stir this around. Get all of this in here. I may add another cup just because I know me and my family. Sometime if it's some left over, we will take and freeze it. You can always freeze stuff like this. And when you don't feel like cooking, you can pull it out, or if you just want something different to eat, okay? So let that give that a minute to actually do what it needs to do. I'm going to stir it. And like I said, we don't even want it to boil that much. We just want it to just kind of get in the hot water and just kind of do... Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to still have hard grains in it because we're going to finish cooking it while we're in the oven. I mean, while it's in the oven, okay? And it's trying to begin to ball the rice. So, what we're going to do now, let me just look at it. What we're going to begin to do now, and I can look at it and tell, the rice grains should get just a little bit, it's going to be still hard, but it's almost like the outer part is starting to tender up, but that inner part is still raw, and you can feel it because the grain is still hard. And that's pretty much what you want. You don't want it to get, because if you cook this too much, it's going to get to the point where it is just too mushy. It's not going to turn out right, and we want some nice rice that is going to... So I'm going to go ahead and pour this off. So that's what we wanted, okay? Okay, so we are back. I've got my rice into my pan. The next thing that we're going to do is take all of our good sausages and bacon and bell peppers and garlic, onions, and we're going to put it right here. Let me get here so you all can still see, and I'm not. See how big and nice our sausages are? This is what I'm talking about, y'all. And yes, it's gonna have some grease in there, but hey, it's only coming from the bacon and the little bit I added from the avocado oil, because you do want to have, I don't know about you, let me just lift this up, but you want to have that little bit of flavor from that oil and the bacon grease, okay? So we're getting all of this in there. And now, if I would have added one more cup, I would not have been able to mix this. And so we have all our nice sausages there. And so now, all we're going to do, our secret ingredients, Prego. It doesn't have to be actually Prego. It can be any, I usually get the spaghetti sauce that has the, I think it's garden vegetable, because it has a lot of vegetables in it. This one was already open. It'll work fine because I do have some vegetables in there. But all we're going to do is pour this over our rice and get everything mixed well. We're going to add in just a tiny little bit of water. We're going to cover it with aluminum foil and get it into the oven. And I'm telling you all, this is some of the best red rice you could ever eat. You don't have to mix any tomato paste and all of this other stuff. I'm telling you, one of the sisters from the church told me about this, and I tried it, and I've been using it ever since, okay? We're going to go ahead and get this in the oven, 350, and we're going to leave it in there probably about 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to check it, stir it up. But for right now, we want to just get it in the oven and let all of the mixtures marinate together. And I'm going to show you all how this red rice comes. Okay, y'all, so now we are checking in on our red rice. I don't think that it's quite ready yet, but we do need to check on it, okay? So I'm just going to kind of pick. Yeah, it's not ready. You just want to kind of pick it. Make sure that the heat is going through it. It's drying out very well on the edges. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. And if you all can see how these sausages swells up in here. Oh my gosh, this is good, y'all. It's not quite ready. You want to pick the bottom a little bit so that that heat can go in there and pretty much start drying out everything, okay? Okay, y'all, so what we're getting ready to do now is prepare our cabbage. I went today and I got some cabbage, and we're gonna get these cut up and we're gonna get these on so we can get this meal prepared, okay? I'm going to show you, this is just one head of cabbage and that's all I'm doing. Because I did buy two, one bigger and one smaller, but I like to take these and just pull them off. Believe it or not, at one point in time, I used to take these and just throw them away. And I was like, wait a minute. Somebody told me, no, you don't throw these away. You actually can use them. And so ever since then, I've been, and they make the cabbage look so pretty because it puts those green, put the green color in there, okay? And I'm just gonna go here, cut out those roots there. We roll these up, and I'm going to cut these very, very thin, okay? Okay, so I have everything cut up. I have my cabbage here already cut up. We're going to get those washed off. I have some red onions. I don't know if you all have ever tried this in your cabbage, but when I tell you that this really brings out the flavor in your cabbage, it is phenomenal. And then we have, again, some bacon. Bacon always seasons everything. So I'm gonna now transport everything from here to the stove, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on our cabbage, okay? Okay, as you all can see, we are now at the stove, and we are going to add a little bit of our avocado oil while our pan is getting hot, okay? And we're not going to add that much because, like I said, we're going to have some that's going to come out of the bacon. So we're going to have that. We're going to go ahead and get in our bacon. Go ahead and get our pieces of bacon in, okay? Now, I really wanted to do smoked turkey. Smoked turkey, that's what I really wanted to put in these cabbage. But if anyone has been to the store lately, you can barely find anything. I'm being honest. And so I was devastated that I could not find those. I didn't want to do pigtails. I didn't want to do neck bones, smoked neck bones. So I just said, well, we have the sausage from the red rice, we have the ribs, so I can just put a little bit of bacon in here for flavoring and, you know, to give our cabbage a good taste. We don't necessarily have to have it, but my desire was to do smoked turkey wings in this cabbage. But now you can do what you decide to do, okay? I always explain that to you all, that when you're cooking, you make the cooking for you because it's your dish. So if, you know, if someone tells you, oh, you shouldn't have put this in it or that in it, this is your own dish. You do it the way that you want. They do theirs the way they want. I have a saying, you do you and let me do me. So this is what I wanted to do today. Let me just turn this down a little bit. And I'm actually over here getting our cabbage cleaned off. And the only thing, I checked on the ribs, so we've got those going. And we want our cabbage to be able to drain very, very good because we don't want, okay, we've got those washed off very good. we're going to go ahead and stir our bacon around in here, okay? I'm showing grease pops everywhere when we're doing this. So y'all just stay with me. We're going to go ahead, like I said, and let that bacon cook down nicely where it has that nice brown coloring on it. And once it finishes getting to the color I want, I'm going to go ahead and we'll add the red onions, saute them a bit, but we're not going to saute them a whole lot because we don't want them to be broken down a whole lot. We want them to still have the nice crunch to them when we add in our cabbage, okay? So we're going to let that do its thing, and then we're going to come back, add our cabbage, and then we'll put our seasons in, and your cabbage pretty much, you know, do what it needs to do. I'm not going to put a top on it because I don't want it to get so much of water in it, but we'll get into it. Okay, so we pretty much have the bacon cooked down. I want to show you all to the degree that I like it. And so now we're going to add in our red onions, okay? Yeah, we're going to add in our red onions. And just kind of stir them around in there. And I hope you all can see. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add in our cabbage, okay? Okay, so let's see how this is going, y'all. We want to just leave it right there, and we want, I actually have my stove cut up pretty high, okay? Because I want this cabbage to really like get a fry on it, okay? Okay, y'all, so if you can see, we're going to stir this up. You can tell like I'm bringing it from the bottom. It's actually doing what it needs to do. And it still doesn't have water in the bottom of the pan, so I think this is awesome. Okay, so we're going to now add in a little bit of our sea salt. If you can see it, I'll put the measurements as I'm adding it. I always put the measurements here. A little bit of sea salt. Of course, we need some seasoned. I'm sorry. That was sea salt. So now we're using the LAWRY'S seasoned salt. That was sea salt, so don't confuse it. I'll put it link everything below, okay? Alright, so that was the seasoned salt. We're going to do a little bit of garlic powder. I think this is pretty much the format for everything that I cook, you know? You kind of just add it in there. Your onion powder. And believe it or not, I like to add a little bit of parsley. That just gives it that pretty color in there throughout. Let's put parsley leaves in there and a few of the crushed red peppers, okay? Because you want to get that little bit of that spice, okay? Not much. Okay, so we're going to stir this up. This is actually turning out very good, and we're going to taste it once it cooks down a little bit more to make sure that it's seasoned well before we put up our seasonings. We want to make sure that all of that is done, okay? So we're going to let this continue to cook and then we're going to bring you all. Okay, so what I did is I took our ribs out of the oven. I'm just going to uncover them and see how they are coming along. Okay. And as you can see, they look very good. I've cooked them with aluminum foil on the top of them, just so that they can really, and I think that these, oh my God, they are cutting. My goodness, y'all. So, now that the ribs are ready, I'm going to let them rest for a minute because I've got to put them back in. But first I've got to get our sauce together for them. So I'm going to cover them back up, but they are pretty much, they're done. They're so tender. And you couldn't ask for anything more. We're going to finish our cabbage. I'm going to get the sauce ready for our ribs. We're going to get it into the oven again with the aluminum foil off the top of it for so many minutes. And let our nice actual sauce go through it. And then we're going to actually get everything plated so that you can see how everything turned out. Okay, y'all, so we have actually got our, this is my famous barbecue sauce, homemade. I did not do it on camera because, of course, I'm not ready for you all to have my recipe, okay? So, because of that, I went on and made it off camera. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put my sauce onto my ribs, okay? Honey, how does it taste? I mean, everything with it.
Delicious.
What about your rib, honey? What about your rib? Yes, cut into that, please. Cut into that.
Good.
Well, y'all, that is the verdict for today. He says that it is wonderful.
Everything is good.